Good evening, slimy fertilers, and here we are with another playZ type thing. This time round I'm going to be doing a bit of a Kerbal space program. This is quite honestly one of my favourite games ever, just quite simply because if that motorbike or whatever it is outside would kindly fuck off. There we go. Yeah, it's quite simply because it's one of the best kind of flight simulators and build it yourself type flight simulators I've ever seen. I used to like a game called Orbiter, which was very similar, except it didn't really allow you to build your own craft, be it aircraft or spacecraft, but Kerbal does. It allows you to pick from an array of different parts, you put them together, and it uses real world physics as well, so that there's very little by way of fantasy. You have to watch out for air currents and things behave how they would. As we can just see here, we have the planet Kerbin, and in orbit around it I have two satellites which are communications relays, because they one of the more recent updates to the game included the basically your spacecraft have to remain in communication. If they're unmanned, they need to remain in communication to allow you to control them. Also to relay science data. I'm playing this in sandbox mode, so that allows me basically to do whatever I want. But there's nothing worse than when you've got a mission to another planet and you're trying to send back science results and your spacecraft is out of communication with home base, sort of thing. But the main event is the object, which is in a blue circle, and we'll just zoom in on it. And here we have the SilberVogel, a single stage to orbit spacecraft, space plane. I've been tinkering with this for about a week or so. I haven't had any internet, so I needed something to do, and I thought, well, I've been trying to do a space plane, a proper SSTO space plane, for a while. So I built the SilberVogel, which is named after one of the many projects to come out of Nazi R&D departments during the Second World War. Basically what the SilberVogel, or the original version of the SilberVogel, was a craft which was designed to take off from a launch ramp using rockets. It would then fly high into the atmosphere on a ballistic trajectory. It would then, the idea behind it was it was able to reach the United States, bomb, New York or whatever. The drawing board name for it was America Bomber, because of where the Nazis were wanting to attack America directly. That never came to fruition, thankfully. Especially if the Nazis had developed an atomic bomb, that wouldn't have been very nice for anybody. But the idea was it would fly up on rockets into basically a ballistic orbit, which is basically it goes up and comes down somewhere, but the somewhere it comes down is a long, long way away. And it would expend all its fuel going up, glide, drop its bombs, and then continue to glide to its landing spot, wherever that would be. And it will be able to do this a lot faster than any conventional, propeller or jet aircraft of the time would have been able to do. This one, however, it's a SilberVogel in name only. This is the tweaked version of it. The original version I built of it was just using stock parts. Not having access to the internet, I couldn't download any of the various parts packs from CurseForge or SpaceDock. But as soon as my internet came on, I'd already worked out an idea of how it needed to be, and what I needed. As soon as I got the parts packs, I basically upgraded the wings so that they're two solid structures, as opposed to using the structural wings that come with the the basic parts pack that's included with the Kerbal game. So I upgraded the wings so that they would be wider and more solid, generating greater lift. I also upgraded the engines. The Kerbal basic game pack comes with what is called a Rapier hybrid rocket engine. The parts packs, I immediately replaced the sabers with something with a bit more pep. I have what we got here, 4, 8, 10 scimitar engines, and main kick comes from a Cutlass engine. These engines are based on the Sabre engine, designed by Reaction Engines Limited and intended to power the Skylon, which is a proposed single stage to orbit hybrid rocket aircraft by Alan Bond, I believe. It's designed it's intended pretty much to be kind of a space shuttle to go up into space, deliver payloads to space stations, etc., or put satellites into orbit, and then come back down as a single stage, you know, no parts wasted, and then once it's landed, you know, it can be cleaned, refueled, and set back off on its way again. That's what I intended this one to do. So all the power plants on this spacecraft are hybrid rocket motors. When it takes off in jet mode, which is basically air-breathing engines using a mixture of liquid rocket fuel and atmospheric pressure. Then once it gets high enough, I close the intakes and switch it to rocket mode, at which point it starts using liquid oxygen and rocket fuel to go. Once you switch over to rocket mode, it gets a lot faster. But the jet mode conserves fuel basically up to the top. One of the issues I had with my earlier version of this was that it was running out of fuel. I'd get quite high up and then all of a sudden it would run out of fuel, so I'd strap on more fuel tanks, which means then I'd need to add more thrust, and the stock hybrid rocket motor, I think that one is actually called the Sabre, just wasn't up to the job, which is why I basically needed to upgrade the power plant. Also, one of the add-on packs is fuel wings, which means that not only can I carry fuel in fuel tanks, I can also use the wings as fuel tanks as well. And the other things I've got is a atmospheric scoop, which allows me to convert air, you know, atmospheric air or gases, into usable fuel to fill the tanks up. Now this particular one has been in orbit for a couple of days now, so it's managed to refuel itself. I do have a crew on board, just to thing it off. While we'll just finish off the technical details. We have a cockpit section containing 2 crew, which, you know, that's where all the stuff happens. The pilots. I have a boarding section here with a boarding ramp on it, which can take 2 additional crew, but I've left it empty. It has a boarding ramp to make getting on and off the craft easier. Unfortunately, when its landing gear is deployed, the boarding ramp doesn't actually touch the floor, which is a pain in the arse. That's something for a design revision. This is the experimental version. I've saved the design because it's proven. The saved design, however, has got improvements added to it, which you know, have greatly done it. You have a crew section here that has 2 people in it. There's no cargo section as yet. That's going to come on later versions, provided I can get this down. For power requirements, it has basically when its engines operate, they charge the batteries. But then I have 16 solar panels on the side of it, so that you know, so that it can recharge itself, you know, without running out of power. Because I've got a lot of lights on and stuff like that. I've also got a antenna here, so that, you know, it can remain in contact with home base, as well as a pretty beefy RCS system. Because this ship, you know, this ship is quite heavy, and just using reaction wheels and stuff like that, or light RCS systems, isn't going to help it maneuver when it's in space. It's a bit of a brick to fly. It's pretty similar to how the space shuttle has, you know, same handling characteristics as a space shuttle, insofar as that it has a centre of gravity that's slightly offset. The centre of gravity is back here somewhere because of all these engines clustered around the back end, and its centre of lift is somewhere back here, which means that it's a little bit arse heavy. And you have to basically make sure that you're well in control of it when you're going up. How it comes down, though, I don't know, and that's what I'm going to find out today. The problem with this one is that I've you know, just remembered that stupid sod me has not included any air brakes on this design. I think it was because I was in such a rush to apply the new parts and see whether I could get it airborne, that I just forgot to put air brakes on, which means that slowing this thing down once it comes out of orbit is gonna be a bit of a battle, and I don't know if I can do it. I can do it. So I need to plot my descent. So I'll zoom in here, just to get rid of the ball. There we go, there's the nav ball. So I would very much like to do a ground landing, but something tells me without those air brakes that's going to be extremely difficult. And I don't want to smash this thing up if I can help it, although doing a water landing will probably result in will in all likelihood result in a horrible crash. So my direction of travel is this way, because this line on here, you can see this line is thicker and this line is thinner, so my direction of travel is this way. We're going anti-clockwise around the planet, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna risk a water landing. So at the moment I'm on a course to, I could drop into this sea if I wanted. So I need to plot my course. So I will probably start my descent somewhere around about here on the next loop. So in 40 minutes, this video isn't going to be 40 minutes long. I'm going to time warp it a bit. So in 40 minutes I need to shorten my orbit, but that's a little bit too steep. So I'm going to, oops, nope, wrong way. I need to push it out there a bit, just to see the difference between landing a rocket and landing a space plane is the fact that a rocket can come down vertically, because you can aim the arse end towards the ground and then use the rockets to decelerate and then use parachutes. But with a space plane, you have to sort of fetch it down nose first, so that it comes down, with its belly against the atmosphere, which helps slow it down. And then once you're down into the thicker part of the atmosphere, you've then got to do maneuvers to try and lose speed and everything like that. So if I aim, this is my landing point here, or on this trajectory where the landing point will take me, although I'll probably end up landing over here somewhere. If needs be, I can try and swing it around and go for a ground landing, if that helps me slow down. I mean, I'll just not orbit things. I mean, I'm currently orbiting an altitude of 282,588 meters, which is about I don't know, nearly 30,000 kilometers, I think. No, 30, yeah, it's about 30,000 kilometers. The weird thing is, this flight engineer thing is part of one of the add-on packs. The basic Kerbal game doesn't give you these readouts, which is a bit daft in my opinion, because a lot of this stuff is, quite needed, especially when you come down out of the outspace into the atmosphere. You need to know, your horizontal and vertical speeds, and the readouts that it gives you as standard don't show you that very well. So yeah, so this is the thing I'll be using mostly, the surface readout, which once I enter the atmosphere, it'll switch over to giving me my Mach number and everything like that, which I need to know, because if I try and do a landing at Mach 3, it's not going to come out nice. So that's the what they call it. So the status is updated. The status is updated to show, I've got a blue arrow down here which shows me which direction I need to be pointing. So if I switch the Navicon to align to the maneuver, there we go. It's just using the RCS system to maneuver us round. And that's what I say. So I've got the engines pointing backwards. The engine's pointing backwards to do a deceleration burn. It's not a very long burn I need to do. Now this is one of the things, I could tell it to do the burn on autopilot by using the MechJeb system. I've got a MechJeb unit installed on this. It's here. What MechJeb's a bit of a discussion point within the kind of Kerbal community, because a lot of people regard using MechJeb as cheating. Because when fitted to rockets, you can quite literally just program a rocket to launch, achieve orbit how you want it to, dock with something and then, you know, come back down without actually having to do anything. Well, we're not actually having to do anything yourself. People say that's cheating, but most rockets, well, most, you know, spacecraft, rockets and stuff like that, run purely by automatic pilot. You know, the courses and stuff are programmed into them beforehand, and they go up, complete the program, and you know, jobs are good. So why this is regarded as cheating, I don't know. It's even aircraft, you know, passenger liners and everything like that all have autopilot systems where, you know, the flight captain programs in the course where he wants to go, and then, you know, the flight computer just does it for him. Saves him having to sit there wrestling with the controls for, you know, several hours at a time and getting tired and bored, and you know, possibly having a crash. So the SilberVogel is now aligned to the manoeuvre, and the manoeuvre node is in 38 minutes, but I'm not going to sit and wait that long for it. So we'll just zoom in, and as we can see there, this is the course I'm on. We're currently going backwards, and this is the but the node itself is somewhere around about here. So I need to warp time. I'll warp time. Pew! There we go, warping time. It's I can't remember what it is, the orbital height and my forward velocity is working out at about a 90-minute orbit. I think, I'm just looking now, is it time to slope? No, it's not on this readout. I'm not changing the readout in a minute, but yeah, it's about a 90-minute orbit for this one at about, like I say, about 250,000 miles. No, not 250,000 miles, but there we go. So right, it's right there, and according to this, the burn node is in 1 minute 38. Sorry about the what they call it here with all the technical details and stuff, but it's like I said, this is one of the reasons why I really like this game, because it takes everything into account, and it's all quite you know, real and everything like that. So I'm just gonna wait. Oh dear, everything's frozen up. Oh, I hate it when everything freezes up. See, this is the problem. I'm running OBS and Kerbal at the same time. It's using a hell of a lot of system resources. So my old laptop is trying to figure out what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, so we have burn node. As you can see down here, the burn node is currently 1 minute 34 seconds away, and this readout here shows you the amount of speed I need to lose, or the amount of forward velocity I need to lose in order to achieve the in order to achieve the velocity I need to go down. So first things first, I just need to fold away all the antennas and everything. No, that's not right. There we go. Sorry, that was just switching the engines over from air breathing to rocket mode. You must have them in rocket mode, otherwise this won't work at all, because there's no air in space. Which one? I've got these controls all set up, you know, like on automatic kind of things. Ah, there we go. One set of controls for switching on the power system, one set of one button rather for switching the engines over, and then another button for, you know, folding away all things. I have to fold the antenna and everything away because on the way down you get atmospheric shear and heat and everything, and it'll just, quite frankly, it'll just rip the antenna and everything off. So all that needs to be folded away so it doesn't create drag. Although drag would be helpful, although that little antenna won't create that much by way of drag. So that's that sorted, that's all that folded away and everything. We're on final approach now, so we'll just speed up time a little bit. Get us till we're about 10-15 seconds away. Oh, careful, nearly overshot then. So 9, 8, 7. Yeah, this is one of the things there, when you're doing a countdown here, like it's holding 8 seconds for ages, you know. 6, 5, Come on. One and go. So I began my descent burn. Everything should be working. Seems to be a bit of a lackluster push from the engines. I hope I haven't got them in the wrong mode. They shouldn't work if they're in the wrong... Yeah, closed cycle. Yeah, seems to be a bit of a lackluster push there from the engines, but according to this, the estimated burn time is about 25 seconds at present, so... Oh, there we go. Oh, so it's spun round because I've... Well, the view's spun round because I've come out of the orbit I was in. I'm now committed to a landing, you know what I mean? To check the, what do they call it? As you can see here, the blue line is creeping down. I can stop the burn at any time and cancel the manoeuvre. In fact, I'll do that because... There we go. I'll do that because I think I was a little bit too late in activating the burn. So at the moment our landing point is showing if I continue on this course without any alterations I'm going to hit the sea, but I'll probably hit land first, which isn't a very good thing. I'm going to lose a hell of a lot of forward momentum when I go down through the atmosphere anyway, which means my landing point will probably shrink back to somewhere around about here, but once I've got enough control back I can then glide it forwards. Well, I don't need to glide it because I've still got engine power. So there we are. So I'm going to switch the navicom so that it puts me round in a... It puts me round into a prograde orbit, which basically prograde means forward. So my plane is going along the direction of travel, or facing the direction of travel, which I need because I can't control it when it's flying backwards. It's manoeuvring round. Okay, we're more or less on stop, so I'll just give it a bit of spin because obviously I don't want to be going in sideways, I want to be going in flat against the atmosphere. So this is like I say, this is the first kind of test of this airframe, and so far it's worked out pretty well, apart from me forgetting to put the air brakes on, which is going to be a pain in the arse and will probably result in a horrible fiery crash. I hope not though. So backup prograde, so I just need to make sure that's fine. Yeah, it's levelling out itself. So the RCS system's still on and stability control is still on, which basically means it locks onto whatever heading I tell it to. For some reason it's not keeping up the fucking the roll though, which is strange. Right, so according to this readout my impact time is in 8 minutes, which means that if I follow this course I will crash down here in 8 minutes, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to zoom time on a little bit. So we're warping, and I need to come back because I need to make sure that the I stay prograde, and make sure that my re-entry angle is right, because otherwise the re-entry angle will make me burn up. What height am I at now? My vertical speed is currently at minus 600 meters per second, which is quite fast, but there's nothing much I can do about it at the moment because I'm still in space. I'm not even skimming the top of the atmosphere yet. Right. at this point I'll need to switch over to stability assist, which will lock me on, and I'll just pull the nose up a little bit. I need the nose to... No, don't go down, stay there. I need the nose to be there, and I want the wings to be level. Oops, going the wrong way. That's it, right there. There we go. So, impact is going to be in 2 minutes. Oh God! See, this is one of the things about this game. When you play it properly, it takes a long time because everything's done in real time. The what they call it, there's a lot of waiting involved, which is one of the reasons why space travel isn't as exciting as what TV makes it out to be. Generally, space travel involves lots and lots of waiting. Followed by maybe 5-10 minutes of actual gut-wrenching action, basically where you can get killed, because space travel is extremely dangerous. It's not, programs like Star Trek, Star Wars and stuff like that make it appear to be perfectly routine and everything, but it really isn't. The travel time is so great. I mean, it's one of the reasons why doing, say, a mission to do a manned landing on Mars is causing problems, because although you can get your rocket up there fairly quickly using what we've got now available, getting your rocket from Earth to Mars in as short a time as possible is proving to be quite difficult, because at the moment I think they can manage it using existing technology in about 6 months, depending on what time of year they launch for Mars. But those 6 months you're spent cooped up in a metal can with people. You can't go outside, you can't get away from them, so it's one of the reasons why when they do space missions to space stations and stuff like that, they pack the astronauts' days with science experiments and things like that. It's just basically to give them something to do, because otherwise they'd go insane. If you spend too long locked up in a metal can with 6 other people, many of whom you probably don't even know personally, you start getting annoyed with them fairly quickly, and everything like that. There we go. So what we got now, still 2 minutes, well, just broken 2 minutes for impact. Losing altitude. I'm not losing altitude very fast. I'm going to warp time forward a little bit. There we go. So time warping at 50. Have we entered the atmosphere yet? No, we're flying. The situation, as it shows here, is that we are currently flying high, which means that I've definitely come out of orbit and I'm in the air. You can see the atmospheric thing starting to go down. So it's basically when you launch, your atmospheric indicator starts here, and then the air gradually gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then once you get out of this dark blue area to this black area, that's when you're in space. So we're on us way down. We haven't encountered any atmospheric shear yet. So that's why I say when I'm coming down, that's why I want the nose up a little bit, so it presents as much surface area to the atmosphere as possible to basically to use the entire craft as an air brake, which is again how the space shuttle comes down. It comes down like this, with all. That's why it has all these ceramic tiles and stuff on the bottom. Well, I keep talking about the space shuttle, but the space shuttle was, the space shuttle was a really, really good idea, just implemented really, really badly. It was simultaneously one of the greatest feats of engineering man has ever done, whilst also being one of the biggest and most dangerous turkeys ever done. We don't know. Oh, so we're getting, we're entering the atmosphere now, because we can start seeing the exterior of the craft starting to heat up. We've got fire. I can't really do anything by way of manoeuvres while this is happening, because if I start fiddling around with the the angles of entry, it's going to cause, well, it could end up causing me to go into a spin, which I probably wouldn't be able to recover from, considering how large and how unmanoeuvrable this craft is. I have built smaller SSTOs before, you know, just a single seater and unmanned, and they can be quite nippy and quite manoeuvrable just because of their small size. But when you start getting to things like this, it's the same thing with airliners. You know, airliners can be made to do, you know, sort of aerobatics and things like that. It's really not recommended, because otherwise, you know, you can end up ripping the whole thing in two. So we're now firmly in the upper atmosphere. We'll zoom in a little bit. So, well, I say we'll zoom in a little bit. For some reason, it's not responding. Let me just give it a thing. There we go. Come on. There we are. Zoom in a little bit. So coming down. I'd wind time on a little bit, but I don't want to. See, the problem is when you wind time on in Kerbal, it shuts off your, you know, your stability assist and RCS and everything like that, which kind of makes it, oh shit, something overheating. What's overheating? Oh, these engines at the bottom. Yeah, they weren't intended to be. I wonder if I'm down far enough now that I can start manoeuvring. They're not, yeah, it's not a cause for concern. They're just getting a little bit hot from the atmospheric shear. But we're still quite high up. Okay, the nose section's starting to heat up as well. See, this is the problem. There's no, you know, like ablator, or none that I know of that I could fit to the bottom of this. There are ablators available if you're making sort of Mercury or Apollo type space capsules, and they work brilliantly. You can enter, you know, you can re-enter the atmosphere at Mach 10, and the ablators just, you know, cushion all the heat off and allow you to come in for either a water or a ground landing with parachutes. But for space planes, I don't think anybody's actually done that yet. Oh, that's cooled down. Yeah, that's fine. We're okay now. We're not into a critical overheat. Vertical speed is slowing, which is good. We want the vertical speed slow. I'm currently doing a Mach 4.75 and slowing, so that's the thing there. So I think this is the most dangerous bit now, because we're coming out of the thin part of the atmosphere into the thicker part. So resistance will increase, and if we're not careful, we might end up overheating. I just have to be careful here, so I don't want to switch the engines on and do a burn just yet. Not until I'm in the atmosphere. According to this, if I stay on this course, I will be hitting the ground. See, the impact time is going up, which means that I'm slowing down, which is a good thing. But I don't want to do any more manoeuvres until we come out. There we go, the flames are starting to subside. That's the one. That's it, flames are subsiding, so that now means we've successfully entered the atmosphere. And we didn't explode, which is a good thing. Still got a bit of flame because we're still travelling quite fast, currently doing Mach 3. In a straight line, this design can go up to about Mach 7. You know, in a straight line. In a vertical climb, I think I managed to get up to about Mach 5, nearly Mach 6. I've built planes that are faster before. The problem is, though, when you push them too much, they kind of tend to get a little bit hot and start falling apart, which is a problem that they have in the real world. It's something they had to try and conquer during the the early age of flight. So we're currently doing Mach 2.5. Horizontal speed is slowing gradually, vertical speed is negligible. So I think it's time we put her into a bit of a dive and started going down into a bit of a dive, which will increase the vertical speed. A bit of a brick, come on. Also see if I can put some yaw on it. Shall I go for a ground landing or a water landing? Do you know, I think I might try a ground landing actually. I'm quite happy with how we're coming down the air. The vertical speed is minus at the minute, minus 105 meters per second, which means my rate of descent is increasing. Horizontal speed is also gaining, which means I'm picking up speed, which is not something I wanted to do, but I have to gain some in order to be able to perform manoeuvres. So let's see if I can just swing them more towards. There we go. There we go. Now I've got some nice big tail fins on here, as well as the oh shit, the stability assist is making me want to pull back over there. Come on, level out, you fucker. That's the problem with the stability assist. It tries to think for you sometimes. You have to force it in order to make it go where you want. I need to tip back this way. I might switch the RCS system off because that is putting a little bit too much power. Yeah, I'll switch RCS off. RCS off. So that's it. So we'll go purely to aerodynamic factors. One of the problems I've had with this one is for some reason it veers to either the left or right when it's at speed. And I have absolutely no idea why. So we're coming down. There is actually a the Kerbal aerodrome where you can land, which has a nice flat runway and everything. Fortunately, I can never seem to find the damn thing. It's not marked on the map, so unless you can remember the actual full-on, sort of longitude and latitude coordinates, which I can't, it's really hard to find. One of the things that I've tried doing in the past is just getting a guy to wander out there and plant a flag, so I've got like a visual marker that I can lose from orbit to plot a landing there. Unfortunately, I've still overshot it and everything like that. Even when I'm doing rockets, when I'm doing a vertical descent in a rocket, it's not much good. Come on, struggling to get the damn thing to stay where I want it. There, that's it, that's where I want it to be. So all I've got to do is just tap the... It's going. There we are. Right, level off. Or level the wings off. I'm getting air resistance now, so that should start slowing me down a little bit. Yep, that's slowing me down. But I still need to come down a bit more. Shall I yeah, go on, let's... No, because that'll increase my speed and then I'll have to lose it again. As you can hear, I don't know whether you can hear, but my laptop fan is currently working overtime because of all the shit I've got going on here. I'll see what happens when I speed time up a little bit, because I'm quite happy with the course I'm on. Altitude 9,000, 8,000, 7,000 meters. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull the nose back up. Oh, bit of G-force there. Ah, shit, don't wanna... Oh, did that a bit too fast, so now I've got G-force shock. Okay, pull the nose up. Pull it, come on, keep the nose up, you fuck. This is the stability control being an arse again. This is what I say, one of the stability control's fine as long as you're going in straight lines. But switching it off, come on, right, I'm gliding in a straight line now. I need to get vertical speed minus 7. So yeah, that did slow me down a fair bit. I just need to keep the damn nose up. The fucking stability assist keeps pushing me back down, and I don't want that. I need to level the wings off as well. Oh no, do you know, I'm going to switch stability control off because it's been a pain in the fucking arse. Right, there we go, a bit of G-shock. A bit of G-shock there. Right. Just hold it there, right. If I switch stability control on now, it'll lock onto that point, which is what I want. Let's lose some more speed, so because I haven't got air brakes, I'm going to have to improvise, and I'm going to improvise by lowering the landing gear. Lowering the landing gear will create some drag. Not as much drag as the air brakes would have done. So how far are we off the ground now? I'm just having a look around. One of the tricks I found with this game is if you can see a shadow, that means you're getting really close to the ground. Even though the what they call it's still showing me as being 1,000 meters, so 1 kilometer up. Good, my vertical speed's dropping. I'm currently doing Mach 0.5, which means I'm less than half the speed of sound, which is good. It needs to be a lot lower than that though. Just going to pull the nose up, get ready for some more G-shock. There's the G-shock. You notice the G-force meter there on the right hand side of the nav ball. I need to lose horizontal speed. Okay, 8 seconds to landing according to this. Don't think I've picked a very good place to land because I can just see a nice hill there. But I should be able to... Oh, there's my shadow. I see the shadow down there, so it means I'm coming in. Bated breath. Bated breath. Okay, I'm going to lift the nose up a bit more. Stability assist's now trying to fight me. No, no, no. Up. That's it, up. Nose up. Nose up, get ready with the brakes. The landing gear has brakes, obviously. Here we go, here we go. 4 seconds to landing, 300 meters above surface. Come on, stay focused. Ship wings are tipped. Oh! Made it, what did I smash? Oh, I just smashed 2 of the engines on the right. I'm hitting the brakes. I'm hitting the brakes. Forcing the nose down. Hitting the brakes. Come on, 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 come on. Stop. Stop. Horizontal speed's dropping. Vertical speed I don't care about because I'm on the ground now. I just need to stop the horizontal speed. Seven meters per second, 8 meters per second, and lock the brakes off. No, 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 that's not what I wanted at all. Where's the brakes? Clicked on the wrong one. Lock the brakes on. And we're down. Whew. What casualty do we have? Oh no, the brakes haven't locked on. I'm fucking rolling back down the hill. That's why I said it probably wasn't the best idea to land there, but it was the only place that was really available to me. So now the brakes are locked on, so I'm stationary. Just take a look around the craft. I can shut that off. Take a look around. Yep, I lost. Yeah, I lost 2 of my engines in that landing, but it wasn't catastrophic. I did hit the ground a little bit fast. As you can see, it's done some damage to the wings because the wings are now curved up. But yeah, that went a hell of a lot better than I thought it would. So let's deploy the ramp and deploy this ladder from here. See if I can see we transfer crew from the crew pit into there, and then transfer there. Yeah, transferring the passengers. There we go. Passengers transferred. So as the main pilot, we'll have Jeb come out first. Oh, he just dropped out. Why did he just drop out? Oh, because the exit... Oh, the fucking exit he decided to come out of was the other side. So he's currently on his arse. Up he gets. And we'll just have him wander over here a little bit. Okay, back to the Vogel, and let's see where Valentina comes out. No, Valentina comes out the same place as what old Jeb did, so note to self for the design update, I need to stick a boarding ladder on the other side. I didn't realise that there's a door on each side, and I put the ladder on one side, and clearly it was the wrong one. Go back to the Vogel. No, that's time warp. Shit, wrong one. Oh shit! You're going to start rolling away again, yeah. Oh dear. See, that's what happens when you try and time warp something when it's on the ground. Strange things happen, like for some reason the what we call it? Yeah. So that's the boarding ramp there. Who we got coming out? I think that's either Bill or Bob. And as the boarding ramp doesn't touch the floor, he kind of fell those last couple of feet. Hey, it's all gravy. All gravy. Where are the others? Where are the others? There they are. Yep, so the last person on board the Vogel now is Bob, who is the scientist. These are just the characters that we've got here are just the basic characters that everybody starts off with in Kerbal. I was going to include more people. I'm not sure if there's a way to basically get everybody to just, you know, disembark in one go. It'd be a lot easier than doing this, you know, one by one. But hey, we're happy. all you together in a group. Get rid of the nav ball because I don't need it. There we are, so there we have Jeb, Valentina, Bill and Bob, and as Jeb is the senior pilot here, they're all very, very happy to be down on the ground again. Planting the flag of the European Space Agency, site name, no, because I call the places where I managed to bring things down safely after the cross, so we'll call this one SilberVogel Gulch, and the plaque text is any landing you can walk away from is a good one. There we are. So that will now be a landmark for me to be able to use as a navigation point in future missions, if I do any more where I need to land in this area, which I doubt. So we have there's the crew, and this is the shot for the papers. Crew of the SilberVogel Experimental Mark 1, safely down, minimal damage to the aircraft, no fatalities.